Hey folks, today I'm going to talk about what to do and what options you have if the seals under your windshield start swelling up. Let me give you a quick background. We're dealing with a 2015 Peugeot 308. There are two strips under the windshield, which we'll call rubber seals, although they're actually made of a different material. Over time, these seals, which are technically a type of foam, start absorbing moisture and turn into something like a sponge. This can potentially lead to corrosion issues, among other problems. The hood might not be closing properly. In other words, the hood might be slightly warped. For example, on one side, there's a gap like this, where the foam is damp and in poor condition. On the right side, there's a gap like this, where the foam seems to be okay for now. To be fair, it's worth mentioning that this typically happens in winter. I don't think I need to remind anyone that water expands when it freezes. Alright, let's break this down step by step, as I think you might be losing track of what I'm explaining. Look, in a car there's something called a cowl grille, or scientifically speaking, the air intake grille for the front windshield. So this grille is located at the top, and below it is this plastic panel. Besides the latches connecting them, there's a layer of material between them from the factory that closely resembles this foam. As years of practice have shown, possibly right from the factory, though no one knows for sure, this seal also absorbs water really well. In freezing temperatures, it freezes and consequently expands. Because of this, our foam absorbs water when it's wet, and structurally this foam is located in such a place that without this seal gets wet and absorbs water. But what happens next? I've already mentioned it, so why does this occur? There are two possibilities here. Either it's simply the nature of this foam material, which is a design flaw, and they should have used a different material like rubber or silicone or something similar, or the foam was coated with a special protective layer at the factory, but over time it deteriorates and starts absorbing moisture. Either way, we understand who's at fault, what it leads to, and what's problematic about this feature. You see, this foam gets soaked with moisture, freezes, expands, causing the hood to close slightly worse and increasing the gap between parts. Again, some might say they don't care, that it doesn't affect the speed. Alright, now for the last and most serious issue. In winter, among other problems, this foam tends to freeze either to the body or the hood. When you open the hood, say, to add washer fluid, whether you like it or not, this foam gets damaged and tears a bit. Over time, it starts looking like it's been chewed up by dogs. In my case, it was completely torn in half. So, let's move on to what we need to do. First, we need to either wait for warm weather or move the car into a heated garage. We need to dry everything thoroughly so that all these sealing elements are completely dry. Next, what I'm going to do with these, let's call them drain triangles, although they're not exactly triangular, is coat the seal with regular construction silicone. We also need to apply silicone to this seal that runs along the entire grille. However, the main problem and root cause is this drain seal. Left and right, we're letting this whole thing dry and assemble. You don't need to smear and glue one part to another for obvious reasons, because then you simply won't be able to take it apart. But to back up my point, on one side, I've already removed the foam and applied silicone. Then I installed it and used it for about a month and a half during winter. The result is excellent. See for yourself. The part with silicone is dry and elastic, while the factory part is wet. I think that's proof enough. The only downside to what I've just told you is that you don't need a lot of silicone. One tube of construction silicone is more than enough. Ideally, you only need about half. The catch is that I personally don't know how the silicone will behave in a year or two. Maybe it'll all peel off and crumble. I can't say for sure, but stay tuned to the channel for updates. Lastly, if you think this is too complicated and it's better to just buy this foam, then by all means go ahead. Personally, I found a similar product for $30, which seems a bit pricey to me. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide.
Well, that's all I've got for today. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.